So after realizing that the season 1 episode 11 episode of Stephen Colbert featuring Donald Trump and the architect of the Iran nuclear deal, ironically in the same episode, seeing that that was lacking from YouTube, I decided to put it up as an educational piece. Fair use, because I am educating and using it to discuss things that are relevant to now and to news. And so it is kind of a reflection of how hypocritical and disgusting really the mainstream media people are, and these Hollywood puppets who are compromised beyond belief. So this really, what you'll see, I've got about 2 minutes of memes, and then I'll go into the 14-minute segment. And I really want you to just take everything in mind. Keep in mind his best friends, or his good friends, the people he hangs out with, all these things, because when you hear him talk, and with Trump, he shows him nothing but respect in these early episodes. And Trump reminds him that he was a conservative voice on the Jon Stewart show, which I had really forgotten about, because I remember actually kind of liking this guy at one point because he used to be a little bit funny and he used to nail some good points. Then he went over to this show and he started off pretty neutral, and then he became terrible when Donald Trump won. So it really is an educational assessment of how compromised these people are, what they will do to either keep their jobs, to keep the fame going, or to keep their secrets hidden. And I think that's a big thing with him. As you'll see, he's been listed on the Epstein flight logs. His friends are ridiculous. Diane Keaton calls him out as being terrible, and he's said some absolutely atrocious things. And they all stem from after the election. And you see him in this before episode, and you really, it's shocking that it's the same person. So you really have to wonder what has made this guy so compromised. What is he trying to hide? What is he afraid of people finding out? And what will he do? What ends will he go to keep his job and to please his masters? And who's paying him? Who are his masters? Is it just the TV stations, or is it someone else? Other people that just have to push their garbage on the TV to the masses, to the college generation, and who might be the only people that are still listening to this idiot. But all the things he's done, all the just ridiculous, fraudulent things. This guy doesn't even know who he is. Like most actors on TV, they have no idea who they are as actual people. They're just characters. They're just puppets. They're just pieces of absolute filth. And they do anything to keep their secrets alive and to keep themselves from being imprisoned for a very long time and facing incredible harsh judgments by the law, which they break in sinister and disgusting ways. So this is the episode. That's the information about it. I'm going to let you guys check it out, and it speaks for itself. So take a look at this guy, realize just how pathetic he is, and here you go. YouTube, you need this. Enjoy.
There's no other way to say it. Ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump. Who got the money? Who got the money? Who got the money? Who got the money? You got the money. They do. They got your number over there. That's your number.
This is so beautiful.
Isn't this beautiful?
Yeah, this is really.
This must remind you of one of your guest bathrooms.
Well,
yeah, it's really lovely.
they've done a fantastic job.
Haven't they? Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Speaking of doing a fantastic job, you are setting the world on fire right now.
Well, we're having a lot of fun, and I think we're hitting some pretty good issues, Stephen. And
I want to thank you not only for being here. I want to thank you for running for president. Because I'm not going to say this stuff writes itself, but you certainly do deliver it on time every day.
I think so. I work hard at it.
Are you shocked at all at the enormous response you've gotten from the crowds, from the voters, from the people out there in America? Because you shocked the Republicans.
Right. It's been so really amazing. We went to Mobile, Alabama a couple of weeks ago. We had 31,000 people. At Dallas, Texas the other day, and we had 20,000 people, and did it in about 3 days, filled it up in 3 days. There's been a tremendous response in New Hampshire and Iowa. No matter where we go, it seems that the response, it just gets better and better. And the polls have been phenomenal.
You see Zogby?
Zogby was great.
33%. That came out today, right? Zogby, 33%. Incredible. I'm not surprised at all. I'll tell you why. It's because...
I'm liking him a lot.
No, I'm not. I'm liking you too. I'm liking you too. I'm not surprised at all, because especially in the Republican field, because the Republican Party has been a big pusher of the idea that money is speech. And you're a $10 billion mouth. You know? You're their worst nightmare. Your worst nightmare. Do you think they really want to stop you? Do you think they can stop you?
I think that the establishment and the Republican Party probably isn't that thrilled. I will say this, I'm financing my own campaign. It's a self-funder. In other words, I'm spending my own money. I'm not asking the lobbyists.
I understand what self-funding is.
Right,
I understand
right.
I'm not a billionaire, but I understand what self-funding is.
But I don't want the money from the lobbyists and the special interests.
Nothing.
What
you gave money. You used to give a lot of money to politicians. Now, you say the people who give money to politicians owned them. What politicians did you own when you were giving money? Because I just want to...
Over the years.
Anybody big? Anybody good?
Over the years, I've given a lot of money to a lot of politicians, and you certainly have an advantage. There's no question about it. Mm-hmm. The word own is very strong, but you certainly have...
Because you're a very strong man. You use the word own.
You know, it's interesting. Well, I guess you could say that with respect to some people. You go back 3 years later and you gave a big contribution, you want something, and all of a sudden they're very receptive. If you say, no, I'm not giving to you, and they win, and you go back 2 years, 3 years, 5 years later, believe me, you get the cold shoulder. So I'm not sure that's a good thing. I don't think it is a good thing, and I'm self-funding, and that's the way it is. Nobody's going, I'm going to do what's right for the country.
The other people out there want some of your money. Ted Cruz was on last night. He asked me to ask you if you will give him $1 billion.
Sounds good.
That's good? You still have
He's a good man.
$9 billion left. You have $9 billion left.
I actually watched.
You watched?
I watched last night.
I thought he did very well last night.
It's a good show.
Yeah,
it was good. He was very good. He's a good man.
Show was good too. I was very good.
I agree.
Now, let me ask you: if you actually got the gig, would that be a step down for you? Because you know what the pay is like, right?
Yeah, I do.
And having to ride on Air Force One, can you imagine?
I know. Things are tough.
The smell of all those reporters who've been on there. You'd have to have it fumigated.
That is true. Now, it would be my great honor.
Would be great.
I think I do.
You seriously want the job?
I think I would like to do it, not because I want it, but because I think I can do a great job. We can bring it back. We can bring the country back. It's, we owe right now $19 trillion. There are tremendous problems.
At a certain point, does it even matter how much we owe? Because it's like
it's almost
trillion, quadrillion, what does it matter? Come and get us. We got the armies, right? What are they going to do? What are the Chinese going to do? Okay, what's China going to do?
Well, that's an interesting way of looking at it. I
Yeah.
But we actually owe China $1.5 trillion, which is pretty amazing because they take our business and we owe them money. And that's like a magic act.
Could we just declare bankruptcy and say we're not going to pay you back?
We could do something. We have to do something. We have to do something, and we have to do it fairly quickly. When you get up to the 24 trillion, 23, 24, that's like a magic number. Where
really?
As a
What's
country,
the magic number?
They say,
23, 24?
Can I tell you what they say? It's the number at which we become a large-scale version of Greece, and that's not good. We're very close to that number.
I don't like feta cheese.
Not good.
You got the hat. Let's talk about the hat. You got the great hat. It's called Make America Great Again.
It's a hot hat. The New York Times did a big story on it.
Oh, the hat should be your running mate. It should be.
I would like it.
Trump hat. 2016. But that implies that America is not great now. You're not saying America is not a great country or it's not full of great people. You're not blaming America, are you, sir?
No, I'm not blaming America. I'm blaming people that have run the country for many years, in all fairness. We've got
both sides?
On both sides.
Really?
I would say on both sides. And it certainly hasn't been good over the last 6 years, but I would certainly say on both sides. I mean, we got into a war that we shouldn't have been in. Look at what happened with Iraq, because we totally destabilized the Middle East, and now Iran is going to take over Iraq at some point in the not-too-distant future, in my opinion. And we spent $2 trillion, thousands of lives, $2 trillion, thousands of lives, and we have wounded warriors who I love all over the place. We have nothing. We have nothing. And Iran is going to take over Iraq, and that's going to happen. And ISIS has already taken parts of Iraq, and they've taken oil. And they've become very rich because they have oil. And we handed everything to everybody on a silver platter, and it shouldn't have happened.
Now, you say you're a critic of the Iran deal, the Iran nuclear deal. Okay, my guest tonight, the second guy out here, is Dr. Ernest Moniz. Never met him. I got here. Would you guys do something for me? I got a copy of your book, The Art of the Deal. Would you sign it to the doctor?
Sure.
Right here.
Sure.
Maybe something like, Dear Ernie, better luck next time.
I was just going to say the same thing. I was going to say better luck next time, but I don't want to be a wise guy, so I'll just say to Ernest.
You don't want to be a wise guy?
Be a nice
it just comes naturally.
I want to be a nice person.
Well, while you're doing that, can you stick around? I want to talk a little bit more. We'll be right back with more Donald Trump. Yes, ma'am.
Are you still running for president?
Always thinking about it.
You are, but you
can
sort
never
of,
say
dropped
never.
Down. You weren't at the correspondence dinner, I noticed. Now you know why I wouldn't vote for you.
Because?
Because you're a sexual pervert.